Oh, it's you. Come on in. Welcome to the Scumm Bar. Welcome to the Scumm Bar Podcast, where we talk movies, video games, pop culture, pecorino cheese, and everything in between. I'm your host, Mattbrush, and with me today is a very special guest of mine, a co-host with the most. His name is...
Cheetos.
Sometimes.
So I'm trying to feed off of your pecorino cheese thing. Anyway, hi, I'm Anth0z. Hi.
I had to search it up if it was real or not. I was like, pecorino, that's a thing, right? That's a thing. I had to search it up. I was like, oh, pecorino cheese, yeah, of course.
So what was the definition?
Pecorino is a family of hard Italian cheeses made from sheep's milk.
Ooh,
yeah.
Hard Italian? Okay, cool.
Have you had it before?
I don't think so, but I want to.
I remember having pecorino cheese and using the cheese slicer device thing and getting a full slice of it and putting it on a sandwich, and my dad got mad at me because he's like, no, he's like, you gotta grate it. He's like, you have to grate it and have just a little bit because it's really strong. And yeah, I agreed with him because it was very strong.
Okay, but it was good.
Very good. You gotta put it on like salad or right on top of spaghetti meatballs or something.
On some more cheese.
You can put it on Parmesan as well, but it's like a Parmesan replacement almost.
That's what I thought it would be. Yeah, if you said it was
Parmesan.
Hard Italian cheese, I was picturing something like more of the effervescent salty kind of flavor.
Yes.
But yeah,
throw it on top of a lasagna, and you are good to go, mon
and
frere.
some bologna.
Bolognese. Yes. You know what? Actually, speaking of that, let's move into the pirate joke here. Let's get a little segue.
Okay. Ooh. All right.
Here's a pirate joke. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you
usually.
sure? Because sometimes they just come right out at you, and you're not prepared, and then it just kind of hits you.
That's never happened, but okay, let's try it.
How do you greet a Spanish pirate guy with a rubber toe?
What?
Told you. Sometimes they just come right out at you, and you're not even prepared for them. I knew you wouldn't be ready. How do you greet a Spanish pirate guy with a rubber toe?
You shake it?
You say, "Hola, Roberto."
Wow. Wow.
Oh, my favorite part about it is the pirate doesn't even need to be there, but it is.
And of course, you have to say it in a Spanish accent.
Yes.
It's necessary for the joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope I succeeded.
Does it say that? Like, where you looked up the joke, does it say, like, in footnotes, must be spoken in a terrible Spanish accent?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
But I read it in a terrible Spanish accent, and so it worked. I read a lot of things in terrible Spanish accents just to see if the joke will fall,
Cool.
Sometimes it does.
We should make that a segment instead of or when the next time we do Shakespeare and BR, you should do it in your Spanish accent.
See, how you doing, Anth0z? How you been?
I've been good. Oh, one thing I didn't tell you.
Oh.
Recently, so our condo, we have a community garden, and so I started planting just a few, pretty much the beginning of June, whereas everybody else planted, I think, towards the end of April. So I'm at least a month behind. Everybody has full on forests, and mine are just little dinky clovers.
Wait, but it's a community garden. Oh, do you get a little plot from?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it was first come first serve, and I only did it because my fiance, she was really interested in doing it, and so
right. That's why we do,
because I'm living on my own right now. but right now, I'm living on my own, so I'm kind of the one that's more or less is managed. I mean, all I'm doing is watering it for now, but later on, I think if it grows to a certain point before she moves in, then I'm gonna have to start trimming it and weeding it, and I don't know, all that kind of stuff. So
all the gardening
we'll see how
stuff.
that goes, but I am excited. Every time I go out and water it, it's like the plants are just a little, or the seedlings have blossomed a little bit, and the plants are getting a bit taller, and I'm like, oh, it's so cute and it's growing. And
sorry, what was it that you grew?
So we've planted cucumbers, broccoli, basil, lettuce, what else? And spinach.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you got a whole salad there.
Yeah, well, that's the point. Like, we want to have some things that like were
Fresh herbs.
usable for like soups and salads, like
Yeah.
and like you can add it to pretty much like any other meal too, right? So
Basil,
they're
fresh
common
basil,
ingredients.
so nice.
yeah,
That's good. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah. How are you doing, Mattbrush?
I'm doing fine, as I explained earlier, but I'll re-explain. I was getting some concrete bags today because my girlfriend and I, at our house here, we have a little fence project we're going to be doing. So we're going to be putting up a fence soon. And I've never done that before, so we're going to be learning as we go. And we have to dig out fence post holes and then fill it up with concrete. So we had to go get our concrete bags today. And I had to use a wheelbarrow for that, and the wheelbarrow's flat, so it was pretty much just pushing a metal thing that was even heavier and hoping that it'll roll slowly.
Can you even consider that a wheelbarrow?
Not really, no. I don't even know if it was helping, because then I'm picking up the bags out of it, and I was like, it's almost easier just to carry these bags.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That was interesting. I got concrete on my hands, and I washed it, and the concrete to get it off.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like, well, water is what makes the concrete mix turn into concrete. And I was just like, so where does that go? The concrete mix, you know? But then I was thinking, what if I've like inhaled concrete powder? I was like, because then that goes into me. I was like, does that harden
And it's going to solidify
concrete? It's like, that's not good. I'm going to have concrete. So maybe I'm going to turn to Sandman from Spiderman. I'm going to be the new Sandman guy.
You're going to be the concrete man.
That's how you become a superhero, pretty much. Or villain. We'll see which way I go.
Okay, right. So if we basically Venom inhaled Venom, and that's how he became Venom?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's how it works. Anth0z, we are gonna move on to ye old news. I forgot what it was called there. Ye old news.
All right.
Which, as everyone knows, including you and I, this is the news segment of our show where we talk about all things topical that we pretend we know about.
Topical cream.
Yeah,
topical tropical forests.
Ooh, you know more topical things than I do.
I'm not sure if I do, but
so
see what happens.
This I just found out in a quick Google search just now. Godzilla versus Kong is actually supposed to come out March 2020. That sounds oddly soon, like really soon.
Have we seen any advertisements for this one yet? Because I don't recall seeing anything.
The buddy I was telling you about that worked on Godzilla King of the Monsters. He I think may even be working on the new Godzilla vs. Kong already. So if they're already working on it now, then it does seem like that we'll probably get a surprise trailer or something later on in the year. And then I just can't believe it. That's a quick turnaround. That's a year apart between the movies.
Yeah.
So,
or you know what? We probably would see some sort of footage, like post-credit scene or something towards the end of the current Godzilla.
Yeah,
wait,
I believe
there is. Is it called King
a...
of the Monsters or King of the Beasts? Or...
King of the Monsters!
I was going to ask, when you make that sound, are you breathing out or are you inhaling?
I'm breathing in.
Okay, yeah.
If I
was just making sure. Because I can definitely not reach that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, so sorry. Anyway, so yeah, that's just a really quick turnaround. I'm impressed. I'm very happy and very excited. I hope it's all good.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What's your news?
Speaking of big giant dragon type monster thingies.
Perfect segue.
The Toronto Raptors won the playoffs.
Nice.
I mean, it's close. It segues anyway. Like I think the area in Toronto where I don't know if the stadium's called this or the viewing party or like the area where they have a viewing party outside of the stadium is called this, but they call it Jurassic Park. Like that's where they'll actually go to watch the game.
I was wondering if anybody makes Jurassic Park Raptor references. They must.
Yeah.
Like there's the blue Raptor from the new Jurassic Park movies.
Right.
I don't remember his name. I think his name is Blue. I'm sure they do like references to that to some of the players, maybe.
Probably. They do pretty. I'm not sure if they got it from somewhere else, but I remember seeing clips from before where the mascot would be like a giant inflatable, well, not like a fairly giant inflatable raptor, but it's got like where the mouth is, it's kind of hollowed out, but you can't really see because it's all black. And so the person that is in the outfit, like he'll like run up to other people and then his the body is Domokun,
yeah, the thing I have on my shelf.
Exactly. Yeah, I was pointing to it. I realized you couldn't see where I was pointing with. Yeah, so he's kind of like in the shape of that, where he's kind of like one block, and then what he does is like he'll run around in that outfit, and then he'll he'll completely like fall onto another human, but where like the mouth would pretty much like envelop that person.
Yeah.
And then that person would like get into the costume, so it looks like he's getting eaten.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then anyway, yeah, that's just random side tidbit, but yeah, so it was, what day was it that they played? I think it was it was Thursday. So Thursday, June 13th was Game 6 of Toronto Raptors versus Golden State Warriors. And it was, so actually my fiance and I and a couple friends, like we watched a couple of the games beforehand. I think I might have mentioned this. Like they actually had viewing parties at Cineplex for the Toronto Raptors games.
Yeah, you were talking about the viewing party.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So we didn't go to it for Game 6. We went to a pub instead, which was just like obviously like everybody is there just to watch the game. Like nobody's really there specifically for the food. And yeah, so that Game 6 was like to the wire the whole game. Like the previous games, there'd be like a point difference of maybe like max like 14, and then one team would catch up and then surpass the other team, and then there'd be like a clear difference. So there was always a clear difference either way. This Game 6 was like 2-point difference catch up, 2-point difference catch up, and it was just like the whole game. So if you were tied to this game at all, like your heart probably failed because it was just it was so intense.
Oh, that's exactly what you want too.
That's true. Yeah, like it made it so enjoyable. And like, yeah, my fiance and I, we don't normally watch NBA. We don't normally pay attention to basketball at all. But because the Toronto Raptors, they're the only Canadian team in the NBA right now, and the fact that they made it to finals, I think what I heard is maybe they haven't made it to finals in 24 years. I think they made it to playoffs over the past 5 years, but never made it to finals. So first time in 24 years, and they won, and they beat the returning champs, including like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson. Watching those guys play is just like, it's mind-blowing just how precise they are with like all their movements, their shots, and it's just like I can see why that team was returning champs. I think they won the past 2 years. The unfortunate part for Golden State was in game 5. So one of their top players, Kevin Durant, he returned from like a 1 month hiatus. I think he was recovering from like a sprained ankle or some other like leg injury, and I think it was like a premature return. So in first quarter, either first or second quarter, he was about to make a play, and then he like tweaked his leg, and then he was out for the rest of that game.
Oh wow!
And so which was really like, people were obviously like pretty worried for Golden State, knowing that like they're losing one of their top players. Toronto Raptors were Toronto fans were like pretty excited, except for Drake. So do you know Drake the rapper, Canadian?
Yeah,
Toronto?
I have heard of him.
Yeah, so he's like a huge Raptors fan, and he's the one that would actually host their viewing parties. Like when Toronto's like doing away games, then he would be hosting the parties in Toronto. Anyway, he's always got courtside tickets. So as Kevin Durant is getting walked off with some of their personnel, you can see Drake. He looks so distraught. He's like, "Oh man, like, oh, I'm so upset for you." Like, it looked like quite genuine too. I think because like him as an artist, like a pretty like high money making artist, you know that like if you are in a position where like you've lost like a part of your tool and you can't perform, then that's like a whole, maybe it's not even the money aspect, but just like not being able to do your craft.
Yeah.
Right. If you can't do your craft, like what else can you do? And I think maybe he felt that pain. And then I just read today that apparently a whole bunch of Toronto Raptors fans, they put together a giant get well card, and like a whole bunch of Canadians came and signed it to like give to Kevin Durant, like this American player. I think the article was like, in very Canadian fashion, Toronto Raptors fans have like done this. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So it was a fun experience watching these games, and congrats to the Toronto Raptors for their win.
Go Canada.
Yes, we
Land
the North.
Of the home
Hashtag
and brave,
we the North.
or what are we? Land of the free. What's our slogan?
True North, strong and brave.
True North, strong and free.
I don't think we have a slogan unless it's like we have beaver tails. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, I just realized land of the free, home of the brave is American, so we are actually, that's not us. We are True North, strong and free.
Yeah,
so we are the True North.
Free.
You know, it's like when John's just like, you know, you're in the North, and he's just like, nah, the True North, John. That's so we're kind of like Tormund, you know. We Canada is Tormund. We're the wildlings.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. So we the North is like a hashtag that I think Toronto Raptors or like Toronto marketers put together maybe like a few years back.
Yeah.
But the first time I'd heard of it, like I didn't watch NBA, right? So first time I heard it, I thought it had to do with Game of Thrones.
It sounds like it.
Like hashtag We the North. That must be like the Night Watch or something like that.
The North remembers We the North.
Yeah.
Which one of these is from Game of Thrones? Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
In other news, very different segue. Actually, no. Let me segue this. The North.
Oh.
Yeah, North.
South. Cold.
Game of Thrones is similar to Lord of the Rings. The evil villain in Lord of the Rings' name was Sauron, and his other guy was Saruman.
Yeah.
Both of them are S. You put that together, you get SS. You know who else has SS in their name? Steven Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg is making a new movie. It's a remake of West Side Story. Have you heard of that?
Ooh, bam. You know, you could have just said North West Side Story. Like it's
this is so much better segue there. No. Mine was better.
I think yours is good. Yours is more thoughtful. It's like that game 5 Degrees of Separation or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, but I took all 5 degrees when
that's
there was 1
good.
degree
like,
there.
You maximized your use. That's fine.
I like that. Do you know West Side Story?
I do know West Side Story. I watched it live.
Did you really? Oh.
Yeah, there was I think it was a touring. It was either touring or maybe like one of the local stages put it on, but yeah.
Well, I'm excited about this. I mean, musicals are kind of hit or miss, but I'm excited just because it's nice to see new musicals out and see them trying to do that. And if this does well, I could see something like Grease getting remade as well, and I'd be excited to see something like that.
So it is meant to be like musical movie like Grease.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how you do West Side Story without the musical aspect to it, to be honest. So
yeah,
it's like the story to West Side Story I'm pretty sure is Romeo and Juliet just retold as a musical format and then in like 50s with gangs. But I don't know how you do it without the music though. I mean, I guess you do the same story as Romeo and Juliet, but I don't know. I'm sure it's the musical portion of it. But I like musicals, so I'm happy about it. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. I'll try it out.
Next news. Do you have more news?
I talked about my community garden.
Oh, you were talking about in the community. Well, the garden. No, you had Amiibo news, didn't you?
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Yay! I mean, it's not like super news, but just before we went on,
we only accept super news here.
Okay, well, this is like it's practically super news because, and this is why because super is tagged to Nintendo because of Super Nintendo.
You're right about that, sir.
And Nintendo has a console that stems from the Switch all the way back to all their other consoles. So anything Nintendo related in variations and generations relates to Smash Bros. Because Smash Bros. Has tons of variations in characters and stages and items and everything in between and pecorino cheese.
It's got pecorino cheese. I'm sure it does actually. It's one of its food items to eat. It's got so many different food items.
Yeah, they're just not labeled, but I'm sure it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so some more Amiibos recently just went up for pre-order. So if you're listening to this, you're probably too late. But in case it's not too late, went up on Best Buy. The latest Squirtle, Amiibo, Ivysaur, Snake. So those are all specific to Smash Bros.
Squirtle and then Ivysaur being the Pokemon from Pokemon Trainers character in Smash Bros.
Yeah, but now the characters are all separated, like in the Smash Bros. Game.
And then Snake being Solid Snake.
That's right. Yeah,
Snake.
Not a snake. That'd
be kind of fun though if there was just one random Amiibo. It's like lion, tiger, snake.
I like this. I like the snake idea. Actually, it would be kind of cool if they made Amiibos just based on the names. So, like, say for example, instead of the Donkey Kong, it's like a donkey. or something like that. I don't know. Like, I think it'd be kind of cool. Anyway, yeah. So those three, and then also for the new upcoming Link's Awakening remastered game, they have the new weird little like Wallace and Gromit looking Link character.
Yeah, the claymation one. You were talking about that on the last podcast. And I remember I saw a photo of it, but it's interesting that it's up now and people can buy it. It seems like a really fast turnaround. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's actually oddly quick, because usually when they announce them, the pre-orders won't go up for another like half a year based on like the track record so far. So right. I guess they might have just been planning this for quite a while already. It's Zelda. Oh, actually no, they have been planning this game a while. Yeah, what am I talking about?
Last news for me, I've got... We never talked about it, actually, when the trailer came out, so I just figured we'd take a moment here to talk about it. But the new Star Wars film got not only a trailer, but its title launch, and we never got to mention that earlier, so I thought we'd take this moment to talk about it. So have you seen the new trailer?
Yes, I have, actually. Yeah, I remember watching it during the Star Wars Day screening, or whatever they called it.
Oh, okay,
it was like an online presentation thing, yeah.
And then the title also dropped. So, how first impressions of the trailer?
I guess I'm trying to think back to what I even. The only thing I even really remember that I can recall clearly is when Rey is facing the TIE fighter that's coming towards her and starts running in the same direction the TIE fighter's going, and then
she runs away from it.
No, yeah, the same direction that it's going.
Oh, it's going. Sorry,
like it's coming towards her, then she turns around and then they're running the same direction.
Yep.
And then she does this weird like
backflip.
It's like the Mario 64 lunge jump,
Yahoo!
Except she travels a little bit up and backwards instead. Yeah, that one. That's all I can remember. What else happened in the trailer?
To be honest, that's about all I can remember too. Except for actually, that's not true. That's not true. There's like little hints. Like, for example, Luke says no one's really gone.
Oh.
It shows Leia for a second, so confirmed that she's in this to some extent. And also it showed, God, what are the characters' names?
Poe Dameron.
Thank you. And the other guy?
BB-8? Oh, Finn. Sorry.
Finn. Thank you, Finn. Yeah. So Poe Dameron and Finn. It showed them off on like some kind of other adventure, doing something.
Oh, Finn's in some sort of like capsule, and he's like he wakes up and he sees this grid in front of him on the screen or whatever. Is that the same one?
No, that's the Last Jedi.
Oh, whoops.
It's all good. No, this one, he looked totally different. Like, it looks like years have passed, which is really interesting. I'm pretty sure time has passed in this one.
Well, that's the thing with most of the Star Wars movies anyway, right? Like in between
the original
all them...
trilogy, yeah. Oh, actually, no, you're right. The prequels as well.
Yeah, because Anakin went from like 6 years old to like 18.
They had to age him up real quick, so Natalie Portman didn't go to jail.
Yeah, ugh, it still that bothers me. Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, so it looks like they're putting Poe and Finn together. So again, to the people that don't know, this is J.J. Abrams coming back. So he did the first one, whatever it was called.
The Force Awakens?
Unleashed. Oh, Awakens, yeah.
Force Unleashed was the game with the guy who acted as Doomsday in Smallville. What was his name?
Doomsday. So
okay.
Yep. So J.J. Abrams did that one, which I personally thought it was pretty good. It's got some moments that are a little cheesy that I didn't want to admit. I think while it came out, but looking back on it now, I think it was a little cheesy, but I could not deny having fun watching that movie.
Yeah,
and seeing it in theaters.
For sure.
And then with Last Jedi, we had Ryan something or other.
Ryan Stiles.
Ryan Stiles came in and directed by Ryan Stiles, and he made a mess of things. So no one liked the Ryan Stiles version. He made a mockery of it, and
he made a call in mockery of it. Ooh.
So then J.J. Abrams, they paid him like a bucket ton of money, I'm sure, to come back and make this last one. And I believe George Lucas is also getting some sort of credit to the writing of this one as well. So it's going to be a little different. But I have to admit, with that trailer, I felt that it seemed to be going back to its roots quite a bit. So for one, it seemed to be quite a bit about Rey and Dude Face, bad guy. What's his name?
Kylo Ren?
Thank you. Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Adam Driver.
Yeah, pretty much the only good parts of the last movie, Last Jedi, was Rey and Kylo Ren.
So their connections are kind of growing and trying to figure out what's happening.
Every time we cut away from them in that movie, I was like, no. So it's the only thing I wanted to watch. And then I was literally watching Finn and that other woman. I was watching their scenes, just like, please cut soon to go back to the other scenes. Because I want to see more of the other scenes.
The Asian girl.
Yeah.
right?
But it was like it was all wasted time to me. I was like, stop focusing on this. I don't care. Just move back to Rey and Finn or Rey and Kylo Ren.
I know second movie, and he's still falsifying like his role. With the rebellion, it's kind of That's
so
enough.
It looks like now Finn and Poe are off on an adventure, which was also a really good scene from the first movie. It was Finn and Poe were together for like the first 10 minutes of that movie. And those 10 minutes were awesome. They were really funny, and I actually had a lot of fun in that moment. And then they were split up for the rest of the movie, right? So it looks like the third one, they're now going back to putting them together on their own little adventures. So that should be good.
Poe.
I think there'll be lots of humor there, and that should be funny. And hopefully full of action and all that. But then you're going to have Rey and Kylo with some hopefully cool story action stuff. But then also possibly Luke Skywalker in this one with his whole storyline, and maybe Leia with stuff too in the Force. So more mysteries to be solved there. And then at the very end of the trailer, there was a cackle. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I was gonna mention. When you said that the movie's going back to its roots, I mean, like, it's like literally going back to its roots because of like the Darth Emperor who's kind of like
Emperor
started
Palpatine.
it all, right?
It looks like he may be making a comeback, which is a good way to solidify the whole trilogy back to the series trilogy. I don't know what you call it, but the 9-parter series trilogy anthology thing. Because you need to connect it somehow, and it seems like all the movies are about Skywalkers. But then, out of nowhere, that Rian Johnson movie, the second one, Last Jedi, seemed to try to stray away from that. It was like, no, we want to make just Star Wars movies. And no one seemed to be happy about that. So now I feel like this movie's like, no, this is a Skywalker movie. And to prove that, we're going to name it, whatever it's called, Skywalker something. Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker,
so they're like, it's like really in your face, I think, to be like, no, it's about Skywalkers. So I think we're actually going to hear about Rey's parentage or something. I think it's going to go back into her ancestry again, even though the last movie tried to throw that away. I think we're going to go back into it in this one.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like we're going to head towards like finally uncovering any kind of like family connection between like Rey and anybody else. Like, why does she have the Force? Any of the questions
we wanted answered from the first movie that we didn't get answered at all in the second one, I think we'll hopefully get answers, and hopefully they're okay in this movie. Yeah. But I gotta admit, I'm a little excited for it. I think it's actually going to be pretty good.
I'm excited for it too. So when I was watching the live debut or whatever it was, so they played the trailer, and then everything went black, and then the lights went up, and on stage was the actor who plays Darth Sidious, and so he was just there, and he wow. I don't even think he didn't say anything except for "run it again." And so then they played the trailer like all over again.
Oh my gosh!
But it was really cool just to see him come back.
I didn't know if they confirmed that it was Darth Sidious or not. That's actually really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh well, that gives me hope now. I'm glad.
Yeah. I think it'll be
Ian McDiarmid, I think is his name.
I can't remember. Yeah, maybe. But while you look that up, it's gonna be.
It is. I was right.
Great. Yeah, I think. Oh, McDermott or McDermott?
McDermott.
Okay.
McDermott.
I thought maybe he was related to Dylan McDermott, but I guess not. I think it's gonna be really exciting to see, like what is he been doing this whole time? Because in the meantime, like, we had to figure out what the deal with Snoke was, and then in the end, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole Snoke thing was interesting, and in my mind, the Emperor was dead, right? But again, Luke said no one's really gone, so maybe. Yeah,
and I think that's the point, right?
He's not. I don't know.
I hope that they probably won't do it with this, but they've probably done it in some other ones. But I would like to see something like more storyline connected to Darth Plagueis.
Because I feel like everyone makes that meme. Have you heard about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Oh, right.
Whatever. Yeah, that's become such a meme now. But it's funny. You're right. If they brought that back full circle, that would hark right back to the third Star Wars movie, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Episode 6.
Yeah, because I think that's what people were saying is they thought this trilogy was going to go into Darth Sidious and him being the apprentice to Darth Plagueis, and then like something going on with that storyline, somewhere that goes wrong, and then he kills his master and then becomes the new Sith Lord or something, right? So that'd be interesting.
Yeah. One thing that I'm a little bit disappointed about the movie title specifically was, and this goes back to after the second movie, so after Episode 8 had they released the title for that, so which was The Last Jedi.
Yep.
So somebody photoshopped together the first two, so episode 7 and 8, and it was Star Wars The Force Awakens, Star Wars The Last Jedi, but he photoshopped them side by side, so the tagline would be in line, so you would read it as The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and then they made their own title for the third Star Wars movie, or for episode 9, and it was From His Nap or something. And so if you read them all together, all three side by side, it was The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi from His Nap. And I'm like, I really hope that is the title for episode 9, but nope.
There actually was probably a few titles that would have worked that they could have used that probably. Like fans also would have been happy about, but also would have worked. Like To Become. Let's just say, like, this is a dumb one, but let's just say it said To Become a Hero, right? Like, you'd be like, oh, Star Wars, To Become a Hero, that's the new one, right? You know, and you'd be like, oh, okay. But then, like, that actually would have worked.
Or if it was like if they wanted to do a crossover with Hercules, since like Star Wars is now, Disney, and it could be like The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, To Go the Distance, or something like that.
I am on my way. Okay, that's enough of news. Let's get out of the news. Let's get out of the news and into my car.
Out of my news. Get into my car. Oh, get in the Death Star. There we go.
Oh, hey! Good segue back to where we were trying to leave from. Now we have to talk about Star Wars for a while.
Run it again.
Run it. Do it. Okay, so I'm going to go into my topic first. It's probably going to be a fairly small one. It's more based on just an observation I've had recently, and I want to just kind of talk about it, really. So I'm going to use my topic to talk about it. I was just watching like a video on YouTube about Pixar movies.
Ooh.
And it kind of made me asking the question about how well Pixar movies are doing lately. Is Pixar still doing okay? Mm-hmm. For example, like the last couple movies that they've had come out have not had the best numbers, really. I mean, Monsters University... Well, actually, go back to Brave. Brave didn't do very well. Monsters University didn't do all that great. Inside Out did pretty good.
Yeah.
But then you got The Good Dinosaur, which kind of flopped.
I heard that was terrible. I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Then Finding Dory, which I think they expected to do a lot better than it did. Cars 3 didn't do as well as they hoped. Coco, I think, did okay. I think that actually had some pretty good success. But then Incredibles 2 didn't do as well as they wanted. And Toy Story 4 is now the new one coming out. And one weird thing I realized is that everything on YouTube right now is talking about Pixar. And I almost feel like it's the meta brain of the internet. Okay, actually a better example is the Eye of Sauron in Lord of the Rings. You know how it's like focusing at one thing and then it moves over and it focuses on another thing? That's the internet all as one. They always focus on these little things. You know how last week it was Keanu Reeves and like the eye is just like looking at Keanu Reeves for like a little while there. I feel like it's shifting ever so slightly. So Pixar is like over in the corner, the southeast corner, and the eye is shifting from southwest to south right now. And it's kind of looking, and Pixar is just kind of hiding there. And it's like, maybe the eye's going to look at me. So it's this
I
topic.
think the eye notices it because Keanu Reeves is actually in Toy Story 4.
Oh, yeah,
so
you're
that's
right.
Why it sees
maybe
the
that's
connection.
the blend. That's what's going on. And so I feel like that's what's oncoming is all these topics about Pixar. And I don't know why people are asking the question, but literally just before we recorded, I was on Reddit real quick, and there was an article that came out of nowhere, and it was like why the Miyazaki films are better than Pixar. And I was like, what? Like, it's so weird. Like, I feel like this is the next topic people are going to be talking about. So I wanted to ask you about it. How are you feeling about Pixar recently? Have you had any doubts about their movies? Do you still want to go see a Pixar movie when it comes out, or?
I guess, well, I haven't really thought about it, but if I knew a Pixar movie was coming out, even without hearing what it's supposed to be about, like, I'm already feeling inclined to watch it just because of how I've always felt watching Pixar movies.
Right.
And that could be regardless of what critics say or whatever the stats say. Because even if you're telling me like some of these movies didn't do that well, like Finding Dory, I enjoyed it. Right. Coco, I actually that was a fun movie. That was really cool. I like the storytelling of that one as well. It was like, it wasn't as cliche as I thought it was going to be as I was watching it. What else did you mention? I didn't watch The Good Dinosaur. Monsters University. I can't even really recall that one, so I guess I didn't like it as much. But I can say that like for the majority of the Pixar movies that I watch, like they still find their way to really invoke feelings in me. Like I can reciprocate it, right? Like I know what they're trying to go for, and I can feel it, and I enjoy that the movie gives me the opportunity to feel that with their stories.
Okay.
With something like Toy Story 4, a lot of it is curiosity that I would mainly go to watch it for, as opposed to like, oh, I know I'm going to enjoy it. Just because, you know, we've known Toy Story, at least the first couple movies, was based on their time being with Andy, and then in the third movie, Andy relinquishes. He basically, you know, like gives away his toys and gives them all to this new girl who I guess it's going to be based around for this one, kind of.
Oh, like is it? Oh, okay. I think
so.
That.
Like she makes a new toy, and it's a plastic spoon with like what's that, like swizzly wire?
Twizzle wire? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
Twizzle.
Anyway, so yeah,
wire.
watching this movie is more about curiosity, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, I guess.
Okay. There was a time I felt I'm looking at the timeline of Pixar on the right over here. It's kind of cheating, but I just find it a little bit easier. There's a time when I felt like Pixar was coming out with a new movie every, well, I don't know, I guess it's every year, on average every 2 or 3 years. They were coming out with a new movie on average every 2 or 3 years, and the topic would be radically different, you know? So there was actually a time when, I guess that's not true. I was going to say where they didn't do sequels, but Toy Story 2 actually kind of breaks that. But, for example...
now they've done like sequels for everything.
I know,
almost.
But Toy Story, a story on toys, you know? And A Bug's Life, a story on bugs.
Yeah.
Then Monsters, Inc., a story about monsters scaring kids. Then Finding Nemo, a story about fish trying to find themselves.
Other fish.
The Incredibles, a story about superheroes.
family.
Then Cars, a story about sentient cars. Ratatouille, a story about like rats in a kitchen. And then Up, which was
a story
the last,
about directions.
Or sorry. Then Wall-E, like a trash compactor robot. And then Up, I think, is where they ended. I honestly think Up is when they stopped with their creative ideas. And the only one out of all of those that I think fell completely flat was Up. I didn't like Up. I like the first 6 minutes of Up, but I don't like the rest of Up. Like, I can name you his wife. I know his wife's name is Ellie. I don't know the name of the boy. I don't know the name of his dog. I don't know the name of any of the other characters, you know? It's funny. It's just, I didn't really like that movie. But for me, everything for Pixar ended with Wall-E. I think that was the last great Pixar film. But I never thought about that until like just now. All these questions are coming up and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I actually don't really watch Pixar anymore. Yet I still give it the credence of being an amazing film company, even though I haven't actually really enjoyed their movies.
Right. So you're kind of basing it like any kind of current like want for people to watch it is kind of just based on past experiences, not based on any merit that Pixar might have in making a good movie now. That makes sense.
Pixar movies used to be a movie where the audience, like at least 80% of the audience will understand the characters and themes and go along for the ride. You might have 20% or less that don't really like it that much, right? Okay. But a good general 80% can be on board with whatever wacky story you throw at it. You know? Okay. It can be about cars, it can be about whatever. Sorry, can you hear that?
I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Sorry, my my dehumidifier just kicked on, and I was just wondering if the mic picked it up. So I feel like there was a time when Pixar was about that, where the mass audience can understand and enjoy the movie no matter how wacky it is. Now it's getting more and more niche with each movie that comes out. A sequel automatically makes you think, oh, should I see the first one, or have I seen the first one? You know, or movies. Movies like Coco. I didn't see. But okay, so maybe that's more reflection of me. I don't know. So why didn't I see Coco? I don't know. But to me, when I saw the trailers, it didn't look interesting for me to go watch.
No, that was the same for me. Actually, I didn't want to watch it right away. I didn't watch it until maybe a couple weeks ago, just because I had some spare time and I knew that they They won some sort of award for like best music in a movie or something like that, and I think just the topic, like the Day of the Dead, for me has never been something that's like really grasped me. Like, I don't just want to go out to watch something about that. So,
Right.
but again, like when you watch a Pixar movie, there's so much more to it than I guess like what you could end up seeing in the trailer, because they are able to really invoke all these emotions. So I ended up watching it, and I ended up enjoying it. Just I don't know, just try it.
Well, here's what I think happened. I think there was a time when I would have saw the Pixar logo and said, okay, I'm going to go see that movie no matter what.
Yeah.
You know? And I think after Up, I saw Brave in theaters. I know that. So I think maybe after Up and then Brave back to back, I just stopped saying that. I think after that is when I went, I guess I don't need to see every Pixar movie in theaters, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I guess they're not all for me. And I don't know if that's a reflection on them or me, right? Well, they used to be. And I think a reason, again, maybe this is also another thing too that gets people, is I also see things like Frozen and Tangled, Moana, and I lump it into the Pixar category. But that's actually not Pixar. That's just Disney.
It's Disney, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, that's giving Pixar like this boost that it doesn't actually need to have.
Right.
And the reason we're all talking about this, I guess, also is that Toy Story 4 is about to come out now. So it's literally coming out in like 3 days. Is Toy Story 4 going to be good? I don't know.
Wait, so Brave was not considered just a Disney movie then? Because I'd almost see...
No, Brave is Pixar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess because whenever I think of Disney movies, I think of like the princess figure.
Yeah, I know. She became a princess figure, but she's actually a Pixar creation.
Ah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's also another movie that I didn't watch in theaters. It didn't look like it would interest me. And then pleasantly surprised. Maybe it's because of my expectations that I've set forward. Like, knowing that these movies to me didn't look as appealing, and then watching it and being surprised made me feel like, oh, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, which is totally
I enjoyed.
fair.
Sorry?
That's totally fair. That's how I end up enjoying a lot of movies that I think are going to suck.
Yeah, but at the same time, like that's okay with me, because like a lot of the time, if I watch a movie, like I want to just watch it to have fun and not to be like, this has to be the best movie ever.
Yeah.
So if I can get that from a movie, and I can usually gauge from the trailer if I'm going to just enjoy it for the sake of enjoying a movie, then I'll go. Like, I can usually tell. With Toy Story 4, I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy it.
Good. Okay. Do you have anything else about Pixar you want to talk about? Because that was about all my topic was.
Well, I'm curious now. Do you know, like, since so after, did you say Up was the last one where you felt like then creativity just like flatlined?
I didn't like the story to Up. I wasn't really captivated by it. So for me,
I mean, just timeline in their movies, like,
yeah, like while Up was creative, WALL-E was the last one I watched, like, and unconditionally enjoyed that movie. And it was like, to me, Pixar was like this mammoth you couldn't tear down. Like, no matter what, they're gonna make a good movie, kind of thing. And that was still with WALL-E. I remember going to the theater thinking that. And then with Up, I was disappointed. With Brave, I was disappointed. Monsters University, I saw on like DVD or Blu-ray afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And Inside Out, I remember watching later on Netflix, and it's like I can't believe how much that drastically changed from how it used to be with WALL-E, at least, where I was like, I'm going to go see this. Ratatouille, I'm going to go see this. You know, Finding Nemo, watching that like on repeat many times.
Yeah. I guess I'm curious to know like what might have changed on their end, like production side.
I don't know.
Or timeline again, like if I'm thinking about WALL-E, like, to me that seems like there's a very evident message that seems like it would be like very relevant to just like, how we're treating the Earth. Might not be able to see that as much with like Finding Nemo, because it's really just based on their world down there, and how they interact with each other, as opposed to how they're trying to survive with us polluting the ocean or anything like that, right? But yeah, I wonder if maybe some things were good because they were timely.
Maybe,
and yeah, like, just if they had some more relevancy. Like, I can really only see that with WALL-E. I don't know, with Ratatouille, maybe around that time was when I started getting into food more.
Yeah, Ratatouille is my feel-good movie. I can literally, there's been sleepless nights where I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't fall asleep. I was like, I guess I got to watch a movie, and I'll put on Ratatouille just because it is so, I don't know what it is. It's so easy to watch, and I really enjoy that movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that in theaters and watched it later on, and yeah, I like that one too. It was one that I don't know why. I think it's maybe because like I didn't eat Ratatouille. I didn't really want to watch Rats.
Yeah, so but the food part is great.
Well, yeah, and everything else, and just like, just looking at, watching, like picturing the rat and the what's the guy's name that he cooks for? Tall, skinny, like
Linguini?
redhead or weenie?
Linguini?
His name is Linguini?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Whatever his name is. Like, just watching them, when like the first moment that they look at each other, like make eye contact. And,
yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, Linguini's the chef, and Remy is the rat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Somebody's name is Django in that movie, apparently. Apparently Django's in that movie.
Oh, cool. Is that the girl?
I have no idea, but Django to me is the movie Django.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to a little thing I like to call the Wheel of Scum.
Scum.
Anth0z, would you like to
Mattbrush.
spin the Wheel of the Scum?
Click.
Oh, well, I'd have to be clicking the wheel. As I click the wheel, there we go. I'm going to really go to the section that shows me all the games that we could be playing on the Wheel of Scum. There it is. Perfect. It's still spinning. I think it's because I clicked on a different tab. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I clicked a different tab, so it wasn't spinning as fast. Still spinning. Still spinning.
Cool.
And
they're off.
It landed on Swashbuckler. Now, we did Swashbuckler 2 episodes ago.
Which means we can do it today. Oh, it's me.
Oh, that's you. That's the wrong thing to share screen. Sorry, I'm trying to share sorry, everyone at home. I'm trying to share my screen with Anth0z so you can see. There we go. So it landed on Swashbuckler. But yeah, we did 2 episodes ago, and then last episode we did a puzzle game. No, we did a trivia game. Trivia game for E3. So, are you okay with going back to Swashbuckler?
I'm fine with it. Do we have to briefly talk about the other games so that I could sing that background song? I'm just going for consistency here.
That's all Anth0z. Why don't you cue the music?
Click.
For those of you that don't know, on the Wheel of Scum, we could have got 6 different options available to us. The first option would have been Pirate Adventure. The second option is Shakespeare in a Jar. Third option is Parlay OK. Fourth option, A Haunting Tale of Woe. Fifth option, Who Wants to Be Scum Millionaire? And sixth option, Swashbuckler. And as you know, Swashbuckler is where we've landed. Thank you, Anth0z. Now that we've landed on Swashbuckler, it's time to show your true pirate skills. Mattbrush and Anth0z will fight to the death with wit. Roll the dice. Whichever number you land on is the category. Each fighter must say a word from the category that begins with the letter at the end of the last word said. Last time we played this, we got the words for countries, which we sucked at. We got stuck on A.
Yep.
And it was terrible. So anyways, countries is excluded. Anth0z, can you roll the dice, please, using Google Dice Roll?
Oh, yeah. I can totally do that. All right, I'm rolling.
Go ahead.
It's a 5.
You got a 5? And a 5 is video game titles.
Ooh.
Titles from video games.
Pretty sure we've done this before, but I guess that's okay.
Oh, we've done them all before, I believe, now. I'm going to throw on a timer. We're going to have a timer of a minute each between each one.
Okay.
Online timer. 1 minute.
1 minute.
1. Oh, that's a bad timer. I can't reset. Oh, wait. Yes, I can! Okay. And I will start off our video game titles, Swashbuckler. And the video game that I'm going to pick, Anth0z, is Gone Home.
So E?
Yes.
I already can't think of anything with an E. EverQuest.
Sorry, there we go. EverQuest starts with a T. The Secret of Mana.
Ooh. Was there a game called Armageddon? No. Was Armada a game? Why can't I think of anything?
Starting with A.
Oh. There must be a game called Armada or like Armageddon.
I think there might be Armageddon, the movie, the game.
Oh, I can never do this when we're in the middle of the game.
Oh, the Amiibo, the new Amiibo, starring
What?
Starring Link, the new Amiibo.
No, but
the game is called.
But that's called Link's Awakening.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was called something else.
Why can't I think of anything?
Anth0z! You hit the alarm. How did you do that?
I can't do that. Okay, when we're in a podcast, when we're recording, I can't think of anything. But when I'm like going to sleep and thinking about it, I can think of all the games possible because I'm recurring. I'm going over like all the mistakes that I made that day.
Okay, I'm gonna play the sound effect of you going overboard because you just died in Swashbuckler, Anth0z. You just died. That was a full minute to find an A.
That was terrible.
Okay, you have now gone overboard. You lost. I'm so sorry, Anth0z. Next time on the Wheel of Scum, you can fight me again, and we'll see how you fare. Do you fare thee well, or do you fare thee poorly?
We shall see.
Games that start with an A. Actually, you know what? No, that's not fair. I'm going to go like this: Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Adventures of something.
Yeah, Adventures of anything at this point.
What's another one? There's got to be so many.
I think because I was thinking of like all these like movies and TV shows. I was
ActRaiser?
like Attack on Titan and.
Oh, Attack on Titan. There's a game on PS4 called Attack on Titan.
Oh well.
Anth0z.
Well.
You should have guessed
okay.
more.
I can't. There's too many things going on in my head. If you were in my head, you would drown.
The problem, and I said this last time too, is that you get stuck on platforms, and when you get stuck on a platform, you're only thinking about that one. It's hard to switch between different titles. Like just now, I said Arkanoid in my head just now because I switched to arcade. So I went Arkanoid. There we go. So there's an A one. I switch over to Wii, and I think, I switch over to switch over to PlayStation.
Okay, if I go to NES,
Age of Empires. Go to PC to get Age of Empires. Yeah.
NES, A Boy and His Blob.
Oh, yeah.
Atari Asteroids.
Asteroids.
Yeah, Super Nintendo Adventure Island. Or was that the adventure one you said earlier?
Adventure Island. No, but that works really well.
Okay.
Yeah. See all these ones you could have done. People, don't be like Anth0z. Don't make the same mistakes he did, or else you too will end up keel-hauled under the ship. Okay. Moving on, Anth0z, would you like to tell me your topic for the day?
No, I'm too sad.
Aw, you can make it up next time. You'll be better.
It's okay. Well, we might kind of cross over some stuff anyway. Oh, speaking of crossover, that's my topic. So, if you were to, I'm thinking back to specifically Double Dragon and Battletoads. So I liked those games individually. But I really liked playing them in one. Yeah, so like crossover games. I can't quite think of anything else, but if you were to can you think of any other crossover games that
it's funny, this isn't really what you're looking for, but this is also topical and we should talk about this as well. But I was just watching a speed run today, and the speed run was a randomizer. Have you ever heard of those?
No.
So you might like those too, actually. So a randomizer is a program that takes your ROM, whatever ROM of whatever game you have, and it randomizes the items within the game, so it manipulates the game. So let's say you're playing Super Metroid, it would actually change the items, so you might get different items in different locations now.
What?
So it can totally radically change a game. A popular one is Pokemon, so Pokemon Red or Blue. A randomizer will go in the game so that it's actually, you don't know what Pokemon are set for what areas. So you start off, you go into the pallet town and you go right to the wild grass. Maybe now you're seeing level 6 Pikachus, or you're seeing level 6 Arcanines or something, right? Like, you don't know. It's all randomized. So
that's so cool.
So in speed runs, especially, randomizers are really fun because you don't really know how long your play is going to be, and you're hoping for the best kind of strat as you go.
Yeah.
So the popular games for randomizers are Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid. But somebody made a ROM hack version that is both games put into one. So you play Super Metroid, and at certain moments you hit a portal and you switch over to Link. And when you play Link, you're going into different things. But the crazy thing is the items are interchangeable between them. No, you can't use the Link items in Super Metroid. You can't use Super Metroid items in Legend of Zelda.
Oh, too bad. I was hoping that Link could like turn into a ball and start like rolling around.
No, but the point is the Morph Ball is specifically going to end up in the Legend of Zelda round. So to get Morph Ball in Super Metroid, you got to be playing Legend of Zelda, find the secret, and you don't know where it's going to be because it's randomized, and then find Morph Ball, which then you can use for Samus when you eventually go back to the Metroid levels. So it's not totally your topic, but I just saw that today, and that blew my mind. Like, that's such a crazy way to play a game. That's awesome. I really like that. Cool. Yeah,
I would love to play that. Like, yeah, I would really want to play Pokemon.
I'll see if I can find it. I'll put a link for somebody. It's going to be a ROM, so you'll have to play it through emulator, I'm sure. But there's got to be a community set up for that, so that's really cool.
That is really cool.
Now, speaking of crossover titles, though, some of the most popular ones are fighting games. Those are where you see your biggest crossovers. So Marvel versus Capcom, obviously.
Yeah.
I think those are pretty interesting, mainly for the cutscenes. I think it's really cool to see the Marvel characters and the Capcom characters teaming up. For example, Captain America and Mega Man, when they're teaming up in like a cutscene together. I love that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So to me, those crossovers are cool. Smash Bros is a cool version of a crossover game.
But were there any kind of like side scroller or like RPG or
Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts? So Disney and Final Fantasy was Kingdom Hearts.
Is that really a crossover though? Because like they have some characters, but it's not like okay, with Double Dragon and Battletoads, at least like gameplay remains the same.
They were two separate entity games that were the same gameplay that they put together to make one game.
Yeah, exactly. But like you could still have like I'm pretty sure with like because like Double Dragon, like the mechanics for them to fight, they're different from how the Battletoads fight in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But and like Battle.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh well, like Battletoads, like if you're when you're in those levels when you're scaling down, you know, you could swing back and forth, and you can turn into like an anvil as you're hitting people. Right. So you know they kept mechanics from each game, but then put it into combine it into one game. So I'm trying to think of if there are any other crossovers like that, because I feel like like stuff like that was pretty fun, and I'd like to see more of that.
Well, a little bit closer to what you're talking about. Still not exactly it, I don't think. In Super Meat Boy, or indie games like Super Meat Boy, they typically put other characters into it, but Super Meat Boy specifically is very platform heavy, and then purposely threw in different characters from different games, like the Minecraft Steve guys in it, and Bit Trip Runner's in it, Machinarium Robot is in it, and the Half-Life Head Crab is in it and stuff, and they all have totally different movements depending on their own games, right? So Bit Trip Runner has like a double jump or something like that depending on his game. Which radically changes Super Meat Boy, because that's not how Super Meat Boy is supposed to be played. So,
right.
So that one is kind of similar, but it's not like a total crossover. It just kind of is. And then I was thinking Soul Calibur throws in some games too. So Soul Calibur did Link in the GameCube version. And I also did Kratos on the PlayStation 4.
Oh, that's
PlayStation
right.
3
that's
for Soul
right.
Calibur. So, so they throw that kind of stuff in. And it's not exactly the same, but it does kind of make sense.
And those are also like battle style games, right? Soul Calibur was like 1v1.
I guess they're one-on-one fighting style. Yeah.
It's a bit easier to do with that. I mean, it is cool to see that, because like, you know, when you get to play The Legend of Zelda, when you're playing Link in that world, like you probably wonder, oh, what would it be like to use him in some other means? So yeah, putting him in Soul Calibur, like that is a really cool idea.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think about like the exact Double Dragon kind of formula. I can't really picture.
I can't really picture it either.
Yeah,
so
Double Dragon and Battletoads were so similar.
Like they were probably produced like same everything, right? Like same studio, same
probably
everything. Yeah. But yeah, I was thinking, like, what games do we have nowadays that you think could work if you were to do a crossover, kind of like the way that they did Double Dragon and Battletoads? Like, I was thinking, like Kirby and Donkey Kong. So, you know how like Kirby, like, he didn't start, like his first game, he wasn't actually able to like suck up things and take their powers, right? It wasn't until I think later on Kirby's...
Smash Bros heavily influenced what happened.
No, I think it was Kirby's Adventure in Nintendo, because like Kirby for Game Boy, I think was out before Nintendo, or whichever was the first one. he couldn't actually suck up enemies and then take their powers. It wasn't until maybe like the second iteration of Kirby.
Right.
But I was thinking, like, what if we put like Kirby in like a Donkey Kong game? And you know how like when Donkey Kong, he can ride on like different animals depending on what the stage is. So he can ride on a rhino, or he can ride on like a frog. But instead, you put Kirby in there, and he can just suck up the rhino and become the rhino.
Oh, right? That's pretty cool. That'd be a great idea.
Yeah. So I'm sure like nobody would ever put these things together, but I think it would be so fun if they really did. And I feel like, yeah, maybe that randomizer thing could kind of, well, I don't know if it would do that exactly, but maybe something along those lines. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. That's an interesting one, and I think that would be a lot of fun because they're both platformers. They both kind of fit in the same universe. For that matter, you can almost throw Mario, Kirby, and Donkey Kong into one.
And then you start getting Smash Bros.
Yeah, no, I know, but like continuing on with like the new Super Mario Bros. Sort of format, but like new Super Mario Friends or something, you know, and then like him and Kirby and Donkey Kong all in one, and Sonic shows up at the end or something. I don't know, but and then you just have like your own sort of platformer. I think, unfortunately, I do believe that would water down the platformer experience, like with Nintendo, because especially with their fan base, like they try to make it for everyone to be able to pick up and play, and they would have it so you could play as Kirby really early on, or Kirby and Donkey Kong and Mario, or just Kirby and Donkey Kong for that matter, really early on. I think that would water down the experience a little bit. Major crossover titles, I'm just looking over a few. I looked at a bunch of minor ones, which are pretty much the ones we already talked about. They consider Kingdom Hearts a major crossover, which I don't really agree, because I'm more in your camp. Because Square Enix and Disney, while it is a major crossover between the two entities, is not a major crossover between two games. So it's kind of more what we're looking for. And they have like Crash. This is maybe the most one that I can think of actually, is Crash Bandicoot, Ripto's Rampage, and Spyro Orange Cortez Conspiracy. Because they did each other's enemies switched into their own game, right? So they did their, like, I think it was only on GBA. Yeah, it's only Game Boy Advance. And it was really weird. It was out of nowhere, but they came out at the same time, like Pokemon Red, Blue. And I guess you can maybe trade between the two of them, but it's funny because their gameplay, I think, remains the same, but their stories end up reversing depending on who you played as. So.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was a really unique idea. I think that was very smart. So that's a cool one.
Yeah. See, okay, like that's what I would like to see. I would like to see studios do more stuff like that, where they just like, you know what, this is just a fun idea. Like, let's just try it. And now, like, I can't remember. I don't know what made me think about this, but like putting Link in Super Mario World, so like the Super Nintendo version. So having him running around instead of using Mario, and I'm picturing even specifically. It's because you said you would be fighting a boss from a different game. So I was actually picturing. You know, at the end of
Ganon being in Mario or something.
Oh, that Mario would die.
Oh, on that. On that note, real quick though, the Super Metroid and Legend of Zelda crossover, I found it very interesting. They make Ganon the final boss, so I find that interesting. So in whatever lore gets created from this crossover universe, I don't think there actually would be a lore because it's all just a ROM hack, anyways. But in that lore, technically Ganon is the villain to Samus as well. So that's kind of interesting. But,
that's interesting. Is Ridley in that one at all?
I believe you have to go through. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I believe Ridley would be a final boss in the Metroid one. But you still have to go back to the Legend of Zelda one and then beat Ganon, so he then becomes the final boss. So
that'd be fun to play. Yeah. So I was thinking when you said the whole boss from a different game. So at the end of the Super Mario World, when you're fighting Bowser and he's like flying in his little propeller like ball thing.
Yeah.
And he throws he throws big balls and he throws like toys, and you're supposed to like throw it at him.
The wind-up toys.
The wind-up toys, yeah, exactly. I was picturing bombs for some reason, and that's why I was thinking like, at this point, like, what if you were Link and you just had bombs, and instead of having to wait for him to throw stuff at you, you just have a bunch of bombs, and you could just throw it at him right away without even having to wait.
Oh yeah. With the Zelda series, you could use a lot of things like his bow or his boomerang and stuff, and just that in the Mario universe would be very interesting.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun. We should make these games. We should find a way to make them and just. It's all just for me though. It's just to satisfy.
Just make crossover things. Well, there's a whole like indie universe for that. Like, what's it called? IO game or something? Not Ender IO. That's a Minecraft thing. Oh, I can't remember what it's called right now, but there's like an indie games website where lots of people just make games just for the heck of it and just throw them on for people to have fun and play them. And usually that's where things like I want to be the Boshi and stuff, and I want to be the man and all that comes out of. And that kind of stuff is great. I really like that kind of. It's like Mario Maker, or even just ROM hacks in general. It's like just for everyone. I really like that stuff. So
yeah,
but
I forgot. Have you seen or do you know about Attack on Titan and like the concept of it?
A bit. I know that there are giant things that eat people.
Yes. That's pretty much it. But so it's Titans versus humans for the most part. And then the humans, so they have this gear. It's called 3D maneuver gear or something like that.
Oh yeah, and in the first episode they show that off. It's actually really interesting. It looks really nice because they use like 3D animation as they're like zipping along.
Yeah, the animation is really cool. It's very like good, very very fluid.
Yeah.
It's different from other anime, but so the way that they get around, at least when they have to fight Titans, is they have to rely on their gear on each side of their belt. They will shoot basically like hooks that they will attach through like flesh of the Titans or like walls or whatever. It just hooks onto anything like a solid object, and that'll propel them towards it. Then they'll have to like release it and then like hook again. And so that's how they have to maneuver in the air. They have to get like all the way around to in order to kill a Titan, they have to slice where the neck meets the base of the neck and the shoulders or like the upper back. So there's a very specific spot that they have to like be able to to move around just to get there to cut it. And I was actually thinking like a cool crossover could be having Spiderman and Attack on Titan, because like he's already got his webs and he can already like swing around.
Yeah. And he's already fought Ant-Man, which is pretty much just that anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So although like he's not, I mean, he probably wouldn't want to kill. So I guess we'd have to put the characters from Attack on Titan into Spider-Man. So you would be using them, and you'd probably go around like slicing up, I don't know, like Lizard, Shocker,
I
Doc
don't
Ock,
know
stuff like that.
Enough about Spider-Man to know the answer to this, but maybe he doesn't want to kill humans, but when it comes to like monsters and stuff, he doesn't mind.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like
in Endgame, doesn't he fight? He must kill a creature.
Oh,
or two.
in Endgame, Friday or hey, suit lady, turn on instant kill mode, and he just starts stabbing everything. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he doesn't mind killing things there. So I'm sure he's fine with killing these guys too.
Yeah,
as long as they're monsters and not humans, then that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that could be a cool kind of crossover.
That's interesting. I never think. You always think about those really creative things like that. That's really awesome. Like to think about crossovers. That's how you come up with those cool things.
This is just where my mind goes when I'm sitting at home alone.
My mind's too practical. I'm like, no, it's not the same universe. Obviously, Spider-Man doesn't exist.
Okay, well, in a practical universe, what do you think would be a cool crossover?
No, that's the thing. It doesn't. My favorite. I'm going impractical here, but I still want to see it. I hold to this until it happens. But Avengers versus Godzilla monsters. I want to see that.
Have you mentioned this before? I don't remember this.
I've mentioned this. This is like the 4th time now on just random episodes. I just keep throwing in, but it's gonna happen one day. We're gonna see Godzilla versus like Iron Man. It's gonna happen. So just you wait.
You know what? Probably will.
Yeah. These two franchises have to meet up, and then eventually we're gonna get the monster movies. We're going to get like Frankenstein and Dracula and the Mummy and the Wolfman, and they're all going to fight as well and team up against Godzilla and the Avengers. So,
no, they should all fight the Sinister Six. Right? It'd be Dracula versus Morbius.
Oh, yeah. The Invisible Man versus Mysterio?
Yeah, sure.
Mummy versus Sandman.
Frankenstein's monster versus somebody's undead.
Goblin? Green Goblin?
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that.
Wolfman versus Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That'd be.
See,
the most
you're
fitting.
Not practical.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I like that.
See, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And if we can't have these games, I would at least want to like. See, when I was a kid, I used to just like write random stories.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is like what I would just write. I'd write a book about these happenings.
I'm gonna do it right here live on the podcast. I've been looking for a way to get rid of Parlay OK in our Wheel of Scum. Now I I like Parlay OK a lot. I think it's fun. But the problem is the way we now record these, we can't really sing into the microphone. There's just a bit of a delay between our conversations, so it's harder to do a song. So we either sing solos, which we're not going to do, or Owa. We radically change the system. And I'm going to go for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Scumm Bar spinner here, and I'm going to remove Parlay OK. And I want to come up with a new game called something or other. And we are going to do crossovers. A crossover will be mentioned. And it's going to be 2 random things that the other person who was not it they'll say the 2 random things. And the other person who is it has to make that story.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like Haunting Tale of Woe, but not a scary story. It'll be a crossover story between 2 things.
Ooh.
Oh,
okay. So
it could be interesting where actually you just take the 2 topics that we've done for the day, or the person makes up their own. I don't know. Actually, maybe it's better if we make up our own. I think it's funnier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So okay, like the topic. Well, how would that work though? So the topics themselves have to be some sort of like pre-existing concept.
No. The person will just make up two things that.
Like just 2 words that come to mind?
Yeah, it could be anything. I could literally say Staples and Avengers, and you'd have to come up with a story that's a crossover between Avengers versus Staples, or Avengers team up with Staples. That's all I say.
Oh, like Staples the company, not like a pack of Staples.
That's for you to decide. You're the creative genius behind it. Maybe Iron Man literally meets a sentient staple or something, and suddenly there's a whole new story here. Okay, cool. That's done and done. That's going to be the game that we play, but we need a name. So think of something, Anth0z. I'll try to think of something, and if anybody's listening, you guys think of something as well, let us know, because we need a name for this. So Parlay OK is out, and crossover, it's right now called Crossover Cross Bover. For now is what it's called.
Crossover Crossbover.
Yeah, that's the temporary title. Crossover Madness with Anth0z and Mattbrush. Whoever is it must come up with 2 titles. 2 things. The other must mash them together in an epic synopsis.
Ooh.
Yep. So my example was the Avengers meet Staples.
And is Staples sentient? Is Staples not? Who knows?
Is Staples the company? Like, maybe it is. Maybe you just have the CEO of Staples teaming up with Iron Man. And I hope that you can fit in some like Staples-esque things like Office Depot or something to like beat the enemy in the end.
Ooh, and we get like a cameo from Michael Scott.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the villain should die from paper cuts. I think that'd be great. or the CEO is standing there with like a stapler, and he's just like, back. Staples the enemy in the forehead or something.
Cool.
Yeah. Tony Stark comes up with like a staple gun mechanism for the guy. Yeah.
Wow, you've already started. You should just keep going.
No, that's it. That's all I got.
That could be fun.
Okay, well, Anth0z. I kind of took over your topic a little bit there, but I actually liked your topic so much it became a thing from the Wheel of Scum. Because then we'll come up with new, cool crossover things in the future.
Yes, that's right.
So, do you have anything more you'd like to say about your topic?
I guess not. I mean, if we're gonna, I feel like that's cool. My topic just evolved. I guess that's different.
Oh, but we can still bring it back down to its roots if you want to talk about the game portion of it.
No, I think we're gonna. Unless I'm still curious to know like what kind of practical games that you'd be able to put together. If you're willing to think about it, but if not, I understand. That's okay.
Oh, I'm definitely willing. I'm always willing. The Wheel of Scum is never static. It's always dynamic. It is a constant changing mechanism. Yeah.
Always static? No, what did you say? It's never
always
static,
dynamic.
It's always dynamic?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's a new hashtag right there. Never static, always dynamic.
Did you just tweet that out?
I'm preparing for my retweet for later. So I have I'll put a few hashtags just so I remember.
That's also our slogan for the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, Scumm Bar Podcast. I mean, we've had that slogan forever. So
I've just never known. Oh, you know what? Do you subscribe? Should we be subscribing to our own? Is that a thing? Is that not a thing?
I think I subscribed. Yeah, I've subscribed to my own one. Yeah.
I just got my friend's reference.
Oh.
As I said, that's not a thing. It reminded me of it was so after Ross and Rachel have their baby, Emma, Rachel's sister, the Christina Applegate, whichever one she plays, she comes over, like meets them, and then she wants to, like, she realizes like what her new career could be, like her career calling, and she's like it's like baby makeup artist for baby pageants or something like that. I think that's what she said. And Ross's response was, "That's not a thing." And it's just the way he says it is just Ross's delivery is so good. That's not a thing.
I think he is secretly one of the best characters of the whole show.
You know what I've actually realized with his delivery, everything is so melodic.
Oh yeah.
And that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cadence in his voice is perfect for his lines. It's really good. It's funny, I always thought Chandler was my favorite character, and I still think Chandler is, but there are just moments when Ross steals the whole thing. The Holiday Armadillo is...
the Holiday Armadillo!
The whole scene just cracks me up every single time.
I'm going to tell you a story about the Maccabees!
The Maccabees!
Years and years ago.
I like the part when Superman flew all the Jews back to Israel. The Holiday Armadillo was not too happy about that part.
Ross.
Anyways, Anth0z, where can the audience find you?
You can find me at Anth0z1 on Twitter. That is at Anth0z1.
And if you'd like to find me on Twitter as well, you can find me at Mattbrush Gaming at Twitter. And if you want to find this very podcast in YouTube form, you can go to your little YouTube there, go up to that little search bar, and you type in Mattbrush Gaming, or you can type in the Scumm Bar Podcast. Either one should hopefully bring you to this very video. And as well, if you'd like to hear us in podcast form, the form we originally wanted you to listen to us in, you can go to any of your podcast platforms, because we're going to be there. We're on Spotify, we're on Twitcher, we're on Stitcher, we're on Itcher, we're on Ditcher.
Stitcher.
We're on iTunes, we're on ByTunes, we're on Flitcher.
Flytunes.
Flytunes. We are also on SoundCloud. We're also on Cloudbean and BeanCloud.
And Ned Bean.
Ned Stark Bean. Ned Stark Bean dead for a long time.
Sean Bean.
Seany Beanie. So you can find us on all of those. And if you're going to download on one, you might as well download it on all of them. Okay?
You might as well.
Might as well. Okay, Anth0z. And as we say on every single podcast,
don't forget your lima beans before you leave the house.
Don't do it!
Take them with you. They're important for you.